Hey, it's Squidly. I am on a trip currently with Crow from As the Crow Flies Hiking. He's behind the camera. You'll see him in just a second. And what we're going to do is do a quick comparison of his Zpacks Duplex and my Zpacks Plexamid. There are some features of both that are pros and maybe cons depending on what your needs are. So those are the things that we're going to go into. So stick around. What we wanted to start with were some of the features of the two tents that are basically the same. They're both made out of Dyneema, so a really lightweight material. The Plexamid is 14 ounces as it comes from the manufacturer. Crow, do you remember the weight of the Duplex?
I think the Duplex is 19 ounces, I believe. But mine is the thicker Dyneema, so it may be 20, but I think it's 19 even, maybe 20 or 21 based on the 0.74 instead of the 0.52 Dyneema. Okay.
Mine is the lighter material. The Plexamid is the lighter material. Other features that are the same, the way the floor is designed with the bathtub floor, and then the mesh that goes around it. Now on the Plexamid, the mesh goes all the way around. On the Duplex, does it go all the way around?
I mean, yeah, it does. It has the vents on the side so that the condensation can roll down like yours does.
Okay.
And then when you bring the doors out, yeah, but it just because it has the two doors, it's still, yeah, the mesh is all the way around.
They both stake out at the corners, but also have guy lines to pull out the walls to give you more interior volume, and they both have his has two doors. The Duplex has two doors. The Plexamid has one, but the doors are designed the same. What do they call it? The rainbow door or something? It's a...
the rainbow zippers?
Yeah.
The zippers are the rainbow design. It's kind of unique to Zpacks because they come up together and really makes it so that you can get out either side.
All right, on the Plexamid, some ways that the Plexamid is different from the Duplex. Obviously, the Plexamid is designed differently. It's a one-man tent, so it has less interior space. But the way, it's not a perfect rectangle. On the back side of it, if you come around to the back side, you can see that there's a kind of an odd shape on the back. And on the interior, what that means is that to your side, you have some extra space for some of your gear. Now, is it tight on the inside? Yeah, it's a one-man tent. But you do have room for some of your gear. And in fact, I have brought in nearly everything on a recent trip. So there is interior space for bringing in your gear. With a one-man tent, interior space being the downside, there is room to sit all the way up. I can sit up and not hit the walls. My head doesn't hit. And so it has some interior space where I can move around without being on the walls the whole time. The downside is that obviously with a one-man, you have less interior space. You have less room to put stuff and less room to move around. The upside to that is that it's easier to find a place to pitch the tent. The last tent I had was a Gossamer Gear the 2, and I loved all of that interior space, but it was a giant footprint, and it was sometimes hard to find a good place to pitch the tent.
So for the Duplex, I mean, I've really enjoyed the lightness of it, the Dyneema fabric. It doesn't soak in water if you get it wet during the night, so the next day you can just shake it out and the water comes off without soaking in like silk nylon or other fabrics. I do like the fact that it's a two-man, though I'm really digging the Plexamid with the one-man because it has that smaller footprint. Looks like you can still get all your gear in. I really enjoy this because I can get all my gear in it and I can set everything up inside. I get away from the weather. I love the two doors. I love the rainbow zippers. I love the fact that the condensation rolls down the walls and then can come out both sides. I've really enjoyed it. It's you do have to think about having two different poles as opposed to the Plexamid. So you got to have the poles or trekking poles to keep it up. It's not freestanding by any means, but once you get those two poles up, as long as you can get stakes in the ground, you're good to go. It's just been a fantastic tent for me. Not that bulky, super light, and so far so good. I've only had a couple of mishaps where I've set it up wrong and then the water came in dripping off of the roof. But other than that, it's stayed bone dry most every time that I've had it.
I think the way to conclude this is just to say that both of these are fantastic tents. But like any piece of gear, I've discovered that if you have your favorite piece of gear, if you have it long enough, you're going to figure out things that make it your favorite, and also probably come up with a couple of things that maybe are not your favorite features and things you wish were a little bit different. The thing about these tents is that what you have to consider before you make a purchase is, what are my needs? What are the things that I need? Do I need to carry 2 trekking poles or just one? Do I need the interior space for a 2-man, or can I get by with the 1-man? And also with the setup, the Plexamid is a little bit more tricky than the Duplex. So the bottom line is, you have to take all of these things into consideration and figure out which one meets your needs. All right, that's all for this video because we're losing daylight fast. On the way out, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.